I've seen a lot of people rush out for the cheapest wine cooler they can find, only to end up with a noisy box that can't keep a bottle at the right temperature and a door that sticks every time they pull it open. The regret shows up a week later when the first bottle you've been saving for a special dinner is suddenly warm, or the fizz in your favorite craft beer goes flat because the unit can't hold a steady chill. So the big question is, does the Bodega 30-inch dual-zone wine and beverage refrigerator feel like a smarter buy? Or is it just another bargain that will leave you wishing you'd spent a little more? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the thing that makes this model stand out is the way it splits its interior into two truly independent zones. One side can stay at the cooler 3840F range that's ideal for whites, Ross, and sparkling drinks, while the other holds a slightly warmer 5559F for reds that need a bit more breathing. I've set up a similar dual-zone system in my own kitchen, and the convenience of not having to shuffle bottles around when the temperature changes is huge. With Bodega, you get that flexibility without having to buy two separate fridges. Capacity is another practical angle. The lower chamber can hold roughly 110 standard-size cans, which is more than enough for a weekend of parties, a game day gathering, or just keeping a stock of sodas on hand for kids. The upper rack accommodates up to 31 wine bottles, and the shelves are adjustable, so you can fit taller bottles like champagne or those quirky Magnum sizes you love to collect. If you've ever tried to cram a 750 milliliters bottle into a shelf meant for a 500 milliliters one, you'll appreciate the adjustable rails. For a household that drinks both wine and beer, this split storage cuts down on the clutter you'd otherwise have on the countertop or in the pantry. Now, let's talk about day-to-day usability. The compressor is marketed as low noise, and after a few days of running, it truly lives up to that claim. In a small apartment, you can hear the hum of a refrigerator in the kitchen, but it doesn't dominate the room the way a cheap mini fridge will. That makes it a decent candidate for an open-plan living area where you might be watching a movie or having a dinner party. The door design is also worth noting. Bodega offers two styles, one with a classic stainless steel front that blends with most modern cabinets, and another with a glass panel that lets you see your collection at a glance. The glass version is handy if you like to show off a curated row of bottles, but keep in mind that the glass can get fingerprints, so a quick wipe with a microfiber cloth becomes part of the routine. The built-in activated carbon filtration system is another hidden plus. It's not something you see on every budget-friendly cooler, but it helps to reduce odors that could otherwise transfer from leftover beer or soda to your wine. In practice, I've noticed that after storing a few cans of soda for a week, the wine section still smells fresh, not a hint of citrus or artificial sweetener drifting into the bottle. That's a subtle benefit that only becomes obvious after a month of regular use. On the flip side, there are a few trade-offs that could be deal-breakers for certain buyers. The unit measures 30 inches wide, which is a common width for under-counter appliances, but it does require a decent amount of vertical clearance, about 70 centimeters tall. If you have low cabinets or a tight alcove, you'll need to double-check those dimensions before ordering. Also, while the stainless steel finish looks sleek, it's prone to showing smudges and water spots. If you're the type who likes a perfectly polished surface, you'll find yourself reaching for a cleaner more often than you might expect. Another point to consider is temperature control. The Bodega model uses a fairly straightforward analog dial rather than a digital touchpad. That means you won't get precise temperature readouts to the exact degree, just a range you set by feel. For most casual drinkers that's fine, but if you're a serious sommelier who wants to keep a Pinot Noir at exactly 55F, you might miss that granular control. It's also worth mentioning that the unit doesn't come with Wi-Fi connectivity or a smartphone app, which some newer competitors include for remote monitoring. If you value that kind of tech integration, you'll have to look elsewhere. Who should seriously consider this fridge? If you're a home entertainer who likes to have a selection of wine, craft beer, and soft drinks on hand without digging through a pantry, the dual